Hello, I'm Aistė Lengvenytė. I'm a psychiatrist from France, and I'm also a member of Early Career Advisory Panel. And here today for our daily of ECNP and our tradition for the second year, we have 3 guests, and I will start from this side. It's Covadonga Díaz-Caneja, who is a medical doctor and specialist in psychiatry with a PhD in medicine and a specific training in psychosis and high-risk population in Spain, Germany, and the UK. Her areas of expertise are assessment, diagnosis, intervention in psychosis and high-risk population, coordination and implementation of multi-center research projects and clinical trials in these populations. She's also part of abstract and poster committee and is also a past junior member advisory panel. Next to her is Eero Castrén from Finland, who is currently academic professor at the Neuroscience Center, University of Helsinki, Finland. His research has focused on effects of neurotrophic factors, particularly in brain-derived neurotrophic factor BDNF, and its receptor and the adult brain in their role in neural plasticity and the mechanism of action of drugs acting on the central nervous system. And next to him is Roche from Ireland, who is Associate Professor in Physiology at National University of Ireland, Galway, Ireland. She is co-director of the Centre of Pain Research and Deputy Director of the Galway Neuroscience Centre. And her research interests focus on neurobiological mechanisms underlying depression, autism, and pain, and the interaction between these disorders. So thank you for coming today. It's the second day of the Congress, so there are many sessions now that you may have attended. Are there any sessions from today that left your particular interest? Let's start from there.
Great. So it's been an amazing day. There've been so many sessions. I've actually just chaired a session on endocannabinoids and as possible treatment targets for anxiety and trauma. And we've had a brilliant discussion, 4 excellent speakers. So we've had Sachin Patel from Northwestern University in the States, and he's given us lots of information about how 2-AG, this one of the key endocannabinoid components, is altered in anxiety-like disorders and how targeting this might be a potential treatment for anxiety and fear in particular. We've had Irene Perini, who's taken an opposite approach and looked at anandamide, and her work is suggesting anandamide might be an important role to play. And then we had Andrew Holmes, who gave us a really insightful talk looking at astrocytes and the role of astrocytes in fear and fear behavior, and the fact that targeting endocannabinoid system in astrocytes in neurons give you very different effects, and what does that actually mean for treatments going forward. So yeah, it's been a really great session, very well attended. There was lots of people waiting to get into the room actually, so it was quite a good session, so I was happy to be involved. Yeah. Great.
Very interesting. And Professor Eero, you also very nice session.
One of the things that I always try to do in a meetings like this, I always try to go to all the plenaries, because the program committee has done a lot of work trying to select really the best and really good scientists speaking there. And I have to say that this year the selection is especially great. And for younger people, I mean, I think that it's important to see that many of the people, they say, oh, I'm not going to see that presentation because it's not in my area. And that is a big mistake, because, you don't know whether it actually is in your area. It might very much turn out that it is in your area. Or if it isn't, maybe this is the area where you should actually aim at going to. So that's something that I have enjoyed a lot so far. I mean, we had to leave in between one of the presentations by Deanna Bra. That is at the moment, I think, still ongoing, and that was also very promising. But I would like to really point and raise the today's morning's plenary lecture by Oscar Marin. I think that was really incredible, and I think very insightful. Something that he's a basic scientist looking at the development of the cortical systems. And you might, if you were a psychiatrist, you might actually think that, okay, that's actually a bit too remote. But there were so many insights. I mean, actually, ending at potentially suggesting why is it that dopamine D2 receptor blockers as an antipsychotic might work. I mean, a completely new view of what might be going on. So I think that presentation, starting to look at the relationship and the mutual relationship during the development of the pyramidal neurons and interneurons, and how the number and activity of each other then regulating the other. That, and then how this balance between the excitation and inhibition is forming up during the development, and if it's not forming up correctly, how that would actually then have a very widespread effects beyond the cortical regional cortex where that is happening. So I really enjoyed that talk greatly. I have actually heard him speak previously, but I mean there was a lot of new data now.
I think last year he also presented.
I was not there yet, but I have seen him before. Yeah, I think this was really a great talk.
Amazing.
And Covadonga?
Yeah, well, I also enjoyed the plenary. I mean, both plenary talks, because they were quite closely related in the end. So it was a preclinical and clinical work going towards proving that we have to take a developmental outlook and try to see whether we can understand brain disorders from the beginning and try to go to earlier stages so we can try to actually intervene effectively, but also probably to prevent. And I really like your comment on trying to go to places we are not, that are not actually within our field of interest, because I tend to do that on purpose. So I try to look for completely different talks, so I get to think out of the box. So I go to, very basic talks, so I start thinking differently, and I always come with a long list of things that I want to do in my research back when I go to Spain or to my institution. So that's something that I also really enjoyed. And I enjoyed your symposium a lot. So it was about vulnerability and resilience. And it was really nice because all of you made all the presenters made like a very nice overview of what has been done in the field. But what I liked most had to do with the fact that we are talking a lot about how the context and how enriching the environment has an impact on the effects that we have from the pharmacological interventions. And I really like that we are getting into talking about psychotherapy in Congress like this European College of Neuropsychopharmacology, so we are opening the field. And that's something that is very important because in the clinical field, we have to use both things simultaneously. So I think that has been very enriching to listen also to the biological effects of this kind of combination therapies. Yeah.
Interesting. I think we have a common theme here that ECNP is a very good congress to learn about things that you're not that familiar with, because it covers a wide areas, diverse topics from preclinical also clinical science. So that's very interesting. Also, Covadonga, you were in a poster and abstract committee, and we already had a poster session today. Could you comment on posters? I think there are many posters this year.
I think we had over 1,700 posters this year, so that's amazing. And they were very good, high quality. So it was really good quality research what we have been reviewing. So it's not like people sending out weird data, but really very nice things. And it was quite hard work to review everything and to find the final contestants for the poster awards, for instance, because we had too many good things to review. And I mean, I think there are too many things. When you go to the poster sessions, you see so many interesting things. So what I really liked about this session and other sessions is that you get to get this translational look. So for instance, I was focusing on psychedelics, and you could see some of the more basic things about, iPSC and how these psychedelics can modulate expression of different receptors in the cells. And then you also have the more clinical oriented research and this clinical trial on anorexia nervosa. It's like getting the whole picture, and that's something that I really like about the poster presentation. So I got this feeling that we can get a lot of information about specific topics, but also get a wide idea of where the field is moving forward. So I couldn't, I don't know, highlight any of those because there are so many, but I think that the best part is that you can interact with the presenters, that a lot of people are there because you go to some congresses where people are not actually presenting their results, and having this translational outlook and get to meet people that are doing the same, but from the basic and the preclinical and the clinical perspective, yeah.
Interesting. I was just wondering, just before this daily, we were talking that there are so many things that we are doing in the Congress that it's difficult, networks, meetings, and I know, Michelle, that you are very actively involved in ECNP. How do you manage your time in the Congress between the meetings and the sessions?
Yeah, so I think what's a brilliant thing this year is that many of the sessions are recorded. So they're giving us the opportunity then to actually go back and actually see these, because having parallel sessions are brilliant, but often the same thing you want to go to is on at the same time. So there's 2 or 3 things. So at least when we've got meetings or you've got different things going on or activities like this, we will now have the opportunity to go back and see these really exciting presentations that are being held. There are a few things that then you kind of have to prioritize. Some things like the campfire sessions, they're so well attended and they're really interactive. They're not recorded, so in that kind of way you may prioritize those over a particular session at a time, knowing that you at least have the opportunity now to go back and look at these in more detail.
But you have to go early because
They're
they were
so
really
busy.
full, and I only was among the 4 that I tried to get in. I only got into 1.
Yeah.
But that was also interesting. I mean, it was not my first choice, but it actually turned out to be very interesting and informative, and one that I maybe should have taken in the first place. I think one of the problems is that often, when there is the schedule is busy, what you tend to miss is the other posters, and then they are not recorded, so that that's it. And the students, when they are there, I mean, it is a very good opportunity to interact with them. So then I think that a little bit maybe more time to attend the poster sessions would be a very good thing. Also, I had difficulties in finding, if you know the poster that you're looking for, then you can find that. But if you have wanted to look at, kind of things that you did not know before, and you want to go to the specific theme, then it turned out to be much more difficult to find where is it that those, what are the posters that are in this particular row are about. So you have to kind of look at the posters and then figure out that that's not the area that I was looking for.
And also, you also were in a session on vulnerability and resilience. I did not manage to get to that session. It was full. So can you give us some highlights from the session?
So, I mean, I think that it was altogether very interesting because there were different approaches to this. I was myself starting to look at that from a very sort of basic science perspective. And then there was Judith was giving a presentation about something that was more sort of translational. And then there were kind of human studies. And Nick van der Wee was reviewing basically a lot of studies. I mean, he was showing his own data, but also very carefully actually reviewing other studies that have been about human imaging of resilience and vulnerability. And altogether, it was something that then turned out to be. And then the last presentation was about a kind of morbidity, and what are the many other aspects that you have to sort of take into account when you think about vulnerability. When you're doing experimental work, you kind of put them different things in a different box, but in reality, they all overlap, and comorbidities and other problems that the patients have are having an influence on what you find. So I think it was a very, from that point of view, maybe I'm a little bit from insider, but I enjoyed that session very much.
Yeah, that was excellent.
You also attended the session, both?
Yeah, it was excellent.
Do you have your thoughts that Professor did not mention?
Yeah, no, I thought it was really well combination of the preclinical through to the clinical side. It really well flowed, and there were a lot of new ideas there.
Yeah.
Even your own talk and new targets for these the antidepressants plus your psychedelics, and they're both targeting the same point, and that's where the convergence is coming, and plasticity, etc. I think there was a lot of new kind of concepts throughout all the talks that actually resonated. We've learned a lot.
Are there any sessions that you're planning or you are particularly excited about to attend tomorrow?
Well, I mean, we should recommend everything, but I mean, I'm really looking forward to going to plenary. I think it's the one in the afternoon, so I think it's plenary number 5. So this one with Sergiu Pasca, which is about this new way of creating these organoids and these self-organizing organoids, so you can try to represent like the circuits and see how they build themselves. So I think this is going to give us a new way of seeing how the brain develops in vitro and in vivo actually, and being able to develop treatments so more focused. So I think it's going to be, and he's also a really, really nice speaker. So I think we are going to be enjoying that a lot, yeah.
And John Cryan is giving another plenary presentation, and if you never saw John give a presentation, now you should really go there, because it's not only very informative, but it's also very entertaining. Yeah. And it's going to be that way tomorrow too. So I mean, I'm recommending that a lot. And one thing that I have, I feel a little bit sort of mismatch there, is that there's been a lot. I mean, I'm also involved in psychedelic research, but this is now very much presented here, and much less you see anything about ketamine, even though S-ketamine is now in clinical treatment. And very little is, I always thought that this S-ketamine and ketamine, also the racemic ketamine, is used too little in clinics. I mean, it has been there. Racemic ketamine has been there for a long time. S-ketamine also now entering, but it seems that in many places it is used very seldom, and psychiatrists are sort of timid, a little bit intimidated in applying that. I think that this is something that it's already there. So I mean, the psychedelics, if they come to market at some point, it will still take some time. So I think that now, and tomorrow, Klaus Norman is going to give a presentation about ketamine, and I think that's something that I'm going to definitely going to attend, and I think I can recommend that to everybody.
It's on neurobiology of ketamine?
But he's psychiatrist, so and I know that he's also had clinical. He has clinical experience there, and has been conducting trials. So I think that's a presentation that is worth attending.
Michelle, do you have particular plans?
So definitely the plenaries are a given. they're going to be brilliant, and John is an amazing speaker, and he's organized. He's been the chair of this organizing committee for the meeting, so he's done a brilliant job pulling so many great speakers together for the meeting. But yeah, there's so many sessions. But I think the new findings symposium, where it's giving 6 early career researchers that have been chosen based on their presentations at the ECNP workshop. So they're going to give their short presentations. And they're going to be amazing, because they're really, they are the future of neuroscience research. They are so enthusiastic about what they do. They're really they really are shining lights for the work going forward. So I think it's really good that we give them a platform at this meeting to actually show that. Yeah. There's also a campfire session. So my area is depression and pain interactions. So Ipik Yaltsin and Dave Finn are going to be talking about pain, depression, interactions, and comorbidities as well. So I think, again, that'll be a very well attended, as like all our campfires are, a session at that stage. And then there's so many more.
Yeah, definitely. Very exciting. Waiting for tomorrow already. So just to wrap up, could you tell in 3 words or a bit more your thoughts how early career psychiatrists or researchers could get the most from the conference.
The first thing is to be here.
Be here.
Right? Just be here, be willing to talk to everybody, be open, and as Eero said, get to as many things as you possibly can, expand your mind, and get to meet people, network.
Yeah, and be there when you present your poster. I mean, so spend time there, because that's the best way. I mean, people come there and then take the time to talk with you, so you can enjoy that moment and get to know a lot of people that way. Yeah. And try to network both with your peers and also with the senior researchers. Yeah.
You said that all. I mean, but being open. I mean, not to think too narrowly about your field, but to have a look at what other people do and what are the areas that are coming up in other areas. And I also emphasize when my graduate students go, I always say that you have to stay at the poster as long as possible, because other people when they come there, and you wanted to have somebody who is a top person in the field coming to your poster, and you are not there, so that's a lost opportunity.
Yeah. So be present, be curious, and be there. Thank you very much. It seems that the Congress is going very well, and it will be fascinating also tomorrow. Thank you for coming, and thank you for listening.
Thank you.